At 10:30 on a June evening, George Farrow, retired jobbing gardener, was knocked off his bicycle and killed on a narrow country lane. After interviewing an eyewitness who described the car and driver, the police arrested local businessman Henry Burnett, who today faces a charge of causing death by dangerous driving. He has pleaded not guilty. His wife is seated in the public benches because she will not be called to give evidence. Superintendent Carson is in the witness box.
Bottom Lane crosses the A67 further north and runs about 4 miles to join the Souby-Epton Road, the B263. The plough-in is marked and the village of Chelton. There are also 2 crosses marked on the map. One is where the accident took place. That's just outside Chelton. And the other marks where the accused, Mr. Burnett, lives, just outside Paley, about 8 miles on. After the accident, a police patrol car arrived on the scene at 11:05 p.m, and almost at the same time, the ambulance which took Mr. Farrow to Souby General Hospital, where he died immediately after admittance. The police took an immediate statement from a motorist, Mr. Driscoll, who had witnessed the accident and gave a description of the car and the driver and the circumstances of the accident. The bicycle was taken away by the police and given to the police forensic laboratory.
Yes, is this the bicycle in question, Superintendent?
Yes, sir, that is the bicycle found at the scene of the accident and belonging to the deceased.
Exhibit 1, my lord. Please continue, Superintendent.
I was placed in charge of the investigations the next day. From the witness's description, I was led to believe that the car that caused the accident was a metallic green Mercedes convertible owned by someone in the vicinity. I made inquiries on all cars answering this description and found that the accused owned a convertible Mercedes sports car, the type known as 350 SL, coloured metallic green, registered number BUR2L. I knew that the accused had been driving this car earlier in the evening because he had been seen by a police patrol car at 8:17 p.m. near Wells Corner on the A135 exceeding the speed limit.
My lord, the fact that Mr. Burnett had been seen exceeding the speed limit at 8:17 on June the 14th is quite irrelevant to this charge.
I adduce this evidence, my lord, merely to show that Mr. Burnett was out in his car that evening a little over 2 hours before the accident, giving rise to the charge.
Mr. Burnett does not deny this. In fact, it's part of his defence. But I particularly object to the witness dragging in a charge of alleged speeding, which is irrelevant and prejudicial.
I must agree with that. The jury will disregard what has been said about the accused having been seen breaking the speed limit earlier on the evening of June the 14th. You must stick purely to the facts bearing on the charge which the accused is actually facing.
I apologise, my lord.
Yes, Mr. Colling.
Please continue.
On the afternoon of June the 15th, I visited the accused and explained the circumstances and asked to see his Mercedes car. He replied that it was under repair in the workshop of his factory.
That is Burnett Components Limited at Stepton near Fulchester.
Yes, sir. I asked the accused why the car was under repair, and he replied that it had suffered damage in a scrape with his son's car in the driveway of his house the previous evening, causing damage to the near side wing, and that he had put the repair in hand early that morning.
That is the morning immediately after the death of Mr. Farrow.
Yes, sir. I asked him why he was in such a hurry to get his car repaired, and he replied, I dislike driving my cars in a dirty or damaged condition.
How many cars has Mr. Burnett?
2, sir. He's got the Mercedes and a Rolls-Royce. There's also a Fiat owned by Mrs. Burnett and an MG sports car owned by the son.
And what did you do then?
I asked the accused to accompany me at once to his factory, and I saw the Mercedes car. This had already been repaired and the wing resprayed. I took the car and submitted it to the forensic laboratory, and after receiving the laboratory's report, I again visited the accused and asked him to give an account of his movements on the evening of June the 14th. He told me that he had been out in the car from approximately 8 p.m. that evening. He said that in company with his secretary, he had first visited a Mr. Danville, a director of his company living at Ash Green, and that's off the map, sir, to the west, and that he had then taken his secretary to her home in Coseley. Then, he stated, he returned home. I asked him when he had left his secretary's house, and he replied, at 10:30. I asked him what route he had taken back, and he replied, the A67 to Wells Corner, and then the A135. I then asked him if he had not, in fact, taken the more northerly, shorter route by Bottom Lane, east of the A67. He replied that he had not. After further inquiries, I again saw the accused and cautioned him and told him that I did not believe his account. He replied, it's true, and I can prove it. I then charged the accused with causing the death of Mr. Farrow by dangerous driving.
Thank you, Superintendent.
Superintendent Carson, you must certainly be congratulated on one thing, and that is the speed of your investigation. The accident that caused the death of Mr. Farrow occurred late on the night of June 14th, and you took over the case early the next morning.
No, sir. I did not say early.
I'm sorry. When did you assume charge?
It was during the morning before noon.
I see. Incidentally, why was that?
Why was what, sir?
Why were you put in charge of this case? You're assistant head of a mid-northern task force dealing with crime over a wide area. Serious crime. Now, why wasn't this investigation left to Fulchester CID?
Well, it was a serious crime.
Didn't you, in fact, ask to be put in charge of this case?
I was instructed to take charge of it by Chief Superintendent Agnew.
But at your request?
I suggested it, certainly.
For any particular reason?
Well, I considered it a matter for the task force.
I see. Now, you've said that you concluded that the car that caused the accident must be owned by someone living in the vicinity.
Yes.
Now, why was that?
Well, the road where the accident occurred is narrow and winding and unlit. It wouldn't be used by anyone who didn't know it.
Or by the same token, surely by anyone who did know it. Whereby an unfamiliar driver might have blundered into it.
Well, I went under a working assumption.
Which led you to start looking for a metallic green convertible Mercedes garage somewhere in the area.
Yes.
How many did you find? Well, how many did you find? You say you looked or your assistants looked. How many such cars did you find?
Well, it wasn't necessary. We immediately found the car owned by the accused.
That wasn't my question, Superintendent. I'll put it another way. And this is quite a large area and fairly wealthy. A number of people living here must own convertible Mercedes cars, and metallic green is not an unusual colour, is it?
No, sir.
So if you had looked, how many such cars do you think you'd have found? 5, 10, a dozen?
I couldn't say.
No, because you didn't look, did you,
I commenced
Superintendent?
investigations.
So?
As I said, it proved unnecessary to pursue them.
So, having assumed rather boldly that the car was owned by someone living in the vicinity, and without checking on other cars in the area, you ascended like an arrow from the bow on the car belonging to Mr. Burnett. Rather an inspired shot, don't you think, Superintendent?
We had received other information.
Such as?
Well, there was the report that the accused had been seen in his car earlier in the evening. I'm sorry, my lord, but I was answering the question.
This is perfectly proper in this context.
Thank you, my lord. With your lordship's permission, and in this context, I would like to go a little more into this report of Mr. Burnett's alleged speeding. Now, I think you said, Superintendent, that around 8 o'clock on the evening of June...
I said 8:17.
8:17. Thank you for the correction, Superintendent. At 8:17, a police patrol car saw Mr. Burnett in his Mercedes going along the A135. Now, I don't think you mentioned the alleged speed.
Well, it was 76 miles an hour.
76 miles per hour. Don't the police use a little discretion when reporting speeding offences?
Yes.
In fact, is it not rare for them to bring prosecutions when the offender is only doing, what shall we say, 5 or 6 miles per hour above the permitted limit?
It's still against the law.
Indeed it is, and so they reported it, Inspector. And you had this report the following morning, did you, when you received the news of the fatal accident to Mr. Farrow?
That is so, yes.
Came what, first thing in the morning, did it? A routine matter?
Yes.
Why?
I'm sorry?
Why did you receive this report?
Well, I do receive reports. And as you said, it's a matter of routine.
What, a report of a trivial speeding offence?
Speeding isn't trivial.
You are assistant head of a task force concerned, as we know, with serious crime. And the local police bothered to send you a report of this minor transgression of the speeding law merely as routine? Is that usual?
It happens.
I suggest that it happens because you asked for it to happen, Superintendent.
Are you asking me?
I will ask you. Did you not, in fact, issue general instruction to be sent reports of any infractions of the driving law committed by Mr. Burnett?
No, sir.
I think you should be very careful, Superintendent. This is a matter that can be checked.
I asked for reports on all motorists in the area with bad driving records. I consider them potentially very dangerous.
Well, I have Mr. Burnett's driving record before me. In the past 5 years, he has received 2 convictions for speeding. One last year for driving on a motorway at 77 miles per hour, and one earlier this year for driving on a local road at 35 miles per hour. Now, I'd hardly call that a dangerous driver. Would you, Superintendent?
Well, that is a matter of opinion.
Isn't it rather a matter of victimization?
That, again, is a matter of opinion.
Mr. Dooley, I'm not quite sure what you're saying, unless you are suggesting that the police have pursued improper means in pursuing this case, out of a sort of prejudice against the accused.
My lord, that is precisely what I am suggesting. I'm obliged, Your Lordship. Superintendent Carson, I ask you now, are you prejudiced against Mr. Burnett?
No, sir.
Do you dislike him?
I don't know him.
You know of him?
He's a well-known man.
Well known in the county, in social work, and in industry.
I believe so, yes.
Have you ever had any dealings with him?
Not directly, if that's what you mean.
I think you know what I mean, Superintendent. Before you were appointed to Mid-Northern Task Force and raised in rank, were you Chief Inspector of Fulchester CID?
Yes, I was.
And in that capacity, did you not handle a prosecution of a certain Reginald Mullins, an employee of Mr. Burnett's company, Burnett Components?
Yes, I did.
Now, this was a prosecution for the possession of cannabis, of which some traces had been found in the saddlebag of Mr. Mullins' motorcycle. He claimed that it had been planted there by someone with ill will towards him. On search of his dwelling, a quantity of cannabis was found by the police, which again Mr. Mullins claimed had been planted. This time by the police themselves. Now, that is the case, is it not?
Yes, and it was an absolute lie.
Nevertheless, Mr. Burnett believed his employee's story and paid for his defense by counsel, and in the event, the case was dismissed. Is that so?
Yes.
And he left a strong impression, taken up by the newspapers, that the police had, in fact, framed Mullins.
Which was absolutely untrue.
And this, of course, reflected unfavorably on you, being in charge of the case.
The case was investigated and I was exonerated completely.
But you were deeply embarrassed. And you blamed the present accused, Mr. Burnett.
I have nothing personally against Mr. Burnett.
I suggest that you have. I suggest that the prosecution of Mr. Burnett early this year for driving at 35 miles per hour and the intended prosecution of Mr. Burnett on June 14th for driving at 76 miles per hour are all part of a campaign of harassment directed at Mr. Burnett.
That's absolutely untrue.
And I suggest that you eagerly seized upon this chance, presented by the death of Mr. Farrow, to bring Mr. Burnett to court on a serious charge.
Absolutely untrue.
Well, we shall see about that, Superintendent. I have no further questions, my lord.
Do you wish to re-examine Mr. Golding?
Just one question, my lord. Superintendent, in your conduct of investigations in this case, have you at any time neglected evidence, or distorted, or selected evidence, or secured it by improper means?
No, sir, I have not. Nor would I ever.
Thank you, Superintendent.
You may stand down.
My lord, there is an agreed statement made under Section 9 from a Dr. Balkrishna Gupta. With your lordship's permission, I'll read it to the jury. Dr. Gupta is resident house surgeon at Sowerby General Hospital. The deceased, Mr. Farrow, was admitted to the accident ward of the hospital at 11:30 p.m. on the night of June the 14th, 1973. I was on duty and saw him immediately. On examination, I found he had a fractured skull consistent with receiving a heavy blow from a hard object. I was informed that he had fallen from a bicycle and hit his head on the road, and the injury was consistent with this. Mr. Farrow died while under examination. Death was directly due to the injury he had received. I'd now like to call Mr. Norman Driscoll. Mr. Driscoll, will you give the court your full name?
Norman Leonard Driscoll.
And you live at 13 Mill Lane, Bursell?
The Jasmines.
I beg your pardon?
We prefer to call it that, my wife and I.
Oh, I'm sorry.
At least my wife does, you see, because
You
of
call the house the Jasmines.
yes, my lord.
You prefer to do that rather than to call it by number 13.
Yes, my lord. You see, my wife
We
and I...
understand.
I thank your lordship. Of the Jasmines, Mill Lane, Bursell. Now, what is your profession, Mr. Driscoll?
bookkeeper, sir, but mainly retired. That is, I still do a little,
Yes.
of course, but...
Mr. Driscoll, on the night of June the 14th, 1973, at about 25 minutes past 10, were you travelling with your wife in your car between Chelton and your own village of Bursell?
yes, sir. We'd been to see our married daughter at Epton. We usually go on a Wednesday, but this time it wasn't convenient.
Yes.
because-
Now, I'd like to take you to the point where you just passed through Chelton and were on your way home. Now, will you describe in your own words what happened?
Well, we were driving, that is, I was driving along, and we came to a turn in the road, not a big turn.
Oh, I'm
and
sorry, I should have asked. What make is your car?
Morris Minor, not new, 1953.
And what speed were you travelling at?
20 miles an hour.
Is that your usual speed?
Yes, my wife is nervous, you see.
I understand. Well, please go on. You'd come to a turn or a curve in the road. Now, what then?
My wife said, there's a car coming. I'd seen it, of course. I pulled over as far as I could. There was a hedge. I could feel the branches. And I saw this Mercedes car coming very fast. And then I saw the cyclist on the other side of the road. At least I didn't actually see him. It was more like his shadow, his silhouette, I mean, in the lights. They were very bright. They must have been full on.
And at that point, where was the cyclist in relation to you?
On the other side of the road, a little way ahead and coming towards me. On his side, that is, close to the hedge. He didn't seem to be moving, really, but of course he must have been to have kept on his bike, bicycle.
And then?
Well, then this Mercedes car came along at a terrible speed. I thought he would put on his brakes, but he didn't. He just came straight on. It was an open car, grey-green, and I saw the driver, and then it flashed through.
And what did you do at this moment?
Well, I pulled up. I looked out of my side window, and I couldn't see the cyclist, and then my wife said, "He's hit him." I got out of the car and ran across the road, and I could see the bicycle in the road, and then I saw him, the cyclist, I mean, lying against the foot of the hedge. He wasn't moving. I ran back to my wife, and I told her what had happened and that we'd have to get help, and she was very upset, and I didn't know what to do. And then a man came along, so I drove home and I phoned the police. Then I thought I'd better get back there just in case well, when I got there, the police were already there and the ambulance was just coming.
Thank you, Mr. Driscoll. Now, just to go over a few details of what you've just told us, you say the cyclist, and that is as we now unhappily know, Mr. Farrow, didn't appear to be moving. I take it he was moving slowly.
Well, yes, he must have been.
He wasn't walking or standing.
Oh, no, he was on the bicycle. I could see that. I could see his legs bent.
And he didn't swerve into the path of the car, of the Mercedes.
No, he was close to the hedge. He wouldn't have had time, really.
And the car didn't swerve to avoid Mr. Farrow.
No, it came straight on.
And there was room for it to pass between you?
Oh, yes. I suppose the driver just didn't see the bicycle. In time, that is.
Now, it was an open car and you saw the driver. Yeah. Now, Mr. Driscoll, I want you to be very careful about this. Will you give the court an exact description of the occupant of that car?
It was a man about middle age, and he was square. I mean, he was quite big. And he had hair down the side of his face, and he wore a light coat, light-coloured, that is, with a high collar. That's about all, really.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Driscoll, do you recognise this man in court?
Yes, he's sitting over there.
Thank you. No further questions.
Mr. Driscoll, how long have you been driving?
15 years, sir.
Well, or was this present car the Morris Minor?
Oh, no, I had a car before that.
I see. What make was that?
Morris Minor.
Oh, you weren't tempted to go for another make when you bought your second car?
Oh, no, I knew this was a good make and reliable, and I don't drive fast.
So you didn't shop around the other makes?
I just like a car that goes. I don't know much about them, I'm afraid.
You don't know very much about them. Mr. Driscoll, you've given a very clear, in fact excellent account of the accident that you saw.
Well, thank you, sir. I have to be clear in my work.
You say you came round the bend in the road, then saw the Mercedes bearing down on you at, as you say, a terrible speed, headlights blazing.
Yes, that's right.
Well, I suggest that you did not, Mr. Driscoll.
But I'm afraid I don't quite understand.
You did not see a Mercedes. And this was a very narrow road, unlit. The car was coming virtually straight at you, headlights at full beam. All you could have seen was, in fact, the lights. Isn't that so?
Well, yes, at that point.
Ah, but you said you saw a Mercedes at that point. And that wasn't, in fact, true, was it?
Well, no, not really, if you put it like that. But immediately after I did then.
You said that the car, as yet unidentified, bore down on you without checking its speed and passed in a flash. Now, those were your words, weren't they?
Yes.
Yet you were able to notice not only the make, but the colour of the car.
Yes, it was grey-green. Well, a sort of grey-green, sort of.
Grey-green? It's rather an indeterminate colour, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what it is that you're trying
Well, the road was dark, Mr. Driscoll. You'd just been dazzled by powerful headlights, and I put it to you that you couldn't possibly tell what colour the car was, except that it was dull or a dark colour. It could have been brown or green or even plain grey.
Well, but it was grey-green because they found some of the paint on the bicycle where it had scraped off.
Ah, the police knew, but you didn't, did you?
Well, no, not really.
So, we can say that you didn't really notice the colour, but you were able to notice the make and, of course, the driver.
Yes.
Even though you were still dazzled by headlights and the car passed in a flash, you noticed him sufficiently clearly to be able to identify him later as the accused.
Yes.
And you said that he had hair on the side of his face. In other words, side whiskers?
Yes, that's right.
And that he was wearing a light-coloured coat?
Oh, yes, I saw that.
With a high collar?
Yes.
My lord, I would like to produce the motoring coat belonging to the accused, which is Exhibit 2.
Very well.
Thank you. Now, this coat is the one that Mr. Burnett will say he was wearing on that night, Mr. Driscoll. And with your permission, my lord, I would like Mr. Burnett to put this coat on.
Give the accused the coat. Please put it on.
Yes,
Is that how you habitually wear that coat, Mr. Burnett?
Yes.
Thank you. Now, would you stand sideways to the witness, please, in profile? Now, Mr. Driscoll, can you see Mr. Burnett's facial hair?
No.
But you said you did. You described him as having side whiskers, but as you can see, they're hidden by the collar of the coat.
Well, it must have been turned down.
Down? In that case, how on earth could you tell that the coat had a high collar?
Well, it must have been half down.
Half down. I see. The driver passed in a flash. You were dazzled by his headlights, but you saw that he had side whiskers, a light-coloured coat with the collar half down.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Burnett. Mr. Driscoll, counsel for the prosecution has already advised you to be very careful, and I can only repeat that warning. You are on oath. Did you, in fact, see anything more than a man at the wheel who could have been any motorist wearing an ordinary motoring coat?
Well, you see, it was after I'd thought about it and tried to remember that...
And that was quite different, I suppose.
Well, yes, it was. But the police were very helpful.
I'm sure we're all very glad to hear that, Mr. Driscoll. Now, how exactly were the police helpful to you?
Well, they asked a lot of questions, and then it began to come to me, what I'd seen.
I see. And did the police show you any photographs of men who might have been the driver that you saw?
Yes, they did.
How many?
I think about 6.
And were any of these of the accused?
Yes, one of them was.
One of them was. Now, did they do anything particular to draw your attention to this photograph?
Oh no, they just showed me the photos.
And did you pick out Mr. Burnett?
Not then, not really. I wasn't quite sure, you see. They all looked rather alike.
They all looked rather alike. Do you mean they all had side whiskers, Mr. Driscoll?
Yes, they did.
Mr. Driscoll, returning to the car. Now, we've agreed that you're not an expert, but you can apparently recognize a Mercedes-Benz when you see one. My lord, I have here a number of photographs of large open sports cars, which I would like to show to the witness.
Very well.
My lord, I think I should see those photographs as well.
The clerk will pass them.
The witness first, please. Now, Mr. Driscoll, would you look at the top photograph?
Yes, sir.
Can you identify the car in it?
It's, is it a Ford?
No, it's a Jaguar. Can you identify the second?
Is it a Daimler?
No? It's a Triumph. And the last one, Mr. Driscoll?
No, I'm sorry.
That, Mr. Driscoll, is a Mercedes-Benz. In fact, it's Mr. Burnett's Mercedes.
The case of the Queen against Burnett will be resumed tomorrow in the Crown Court. George Farrow, retired jobbing gardener, cycling home down a dark country lane one June evening, was knocked down and killed by a speeding car which failed to stop. A witness to the accident, a Mr. Norman Driscoll, identified the car as a grey-green open Mercedes. In due course, a local businessman, Henry Burnett, was charged before the Crown Court with causing death by dangerous driving. We rejoin the hearing as the prosecuting counsel begins his examination of the forensic scientist, Dr. Angus Roberts.
Angus Sinclair Roberts, Doctor of Science.
And your address is the Grove House, Canwick, and you are a forensic scientist employed by the Home Office at the Fulchester Regional Forensic Laboratory.
I am.
Dr. Roberts, on June the 15th this year, were you presented by the police with a bicycle for examination?
Yes, I was.
Would you hold up Exhibit 1, please? Is this the bicycle?
It is.
And would you tell the court, please, the results of your examination on it?
The bicycle is a rally machine approximately 40 years old and in poor repair. It had been repainted twice, on the last occasion in red, what might be described as post office red. It had suffered damage to the rear wheel and mudguard, and on examination, I found traces of metallic green paint superficially embedded in the paint of the mudguard.
And did you submit this paint to analysis?
I did. Chemical analysis showed the paint to match that used by the German make of car Mercedes-Benz on the 350 SL model.
And how were you able to ascertain that?
We hold samples of paints of cars usually used in this country, and we found the paint that matched this particular paint.
And this showed quite definitely that it came from a Mercedes 350 SL.
Yes, or of course a car repainted with this paint. That is possible.
Yes, quite. Now, were there any further findings from this physical examination?
I found minute traces of a particular commercial wax polish, and also traces of embedded stone dust and various pollens.
And did you conduct any further analysis?
Yes. Under spectroscopic analysis, I found traces of lead and sulfur, consistent with the paint having been exposed to the atmosphere for approximately 1 year.
And later, were you brought a Mercedes car model 350 SL registration number BUR2L by the police?
I was.
And did you conduct a similar examination of its paint?
I took samples from a recently repainted portion of the near side wing, and also from an untouched portion of the car. Now, the paint from the newly painted portion differed significantly, showing, of course, no pollutants. That from the original paint matched exactly the sample from the bicycle and was polished with the same brand of commercial wax.
And what did you conclude from this?
That the paint from the bicycle could well have come from this particular car.
Thank you, Dr. Roberts.
Dr. Roberts, you said that the paint found on the bicycle could well have come from the car that was brought to you.
That is so.
Now, this particular car was imported into this country in August 1972, and that, of course, would tally, would it not, with the pollutants found in it?
It would.
Are you aware how many cars of this model and colour were imported into this country between January and October 72?
No, I'm not.
Would you be surprised to learn that it was over 200?
No, it's a very popular car with those who can afford it.
And these cars would show broadly the same deterioration in their paint from atmospheric attack and so on.
It would vary from region to region, but broadly, yes.
And are you aware that this commercial wax is specifically recommended by the makers of this car?
Yes, so I understand.
Therefore, would it not be equally accurate and less misleading to say that the paint you found on the bicycle could well have come from any one of 200 cars?
My statement was entirely accurate. It is unscientific to confuse possibility with probability.
Now, Mr. Burnett will state, and the police witness has already quoted him as saying, that the damage to his near side wing that necessitated the repainting of the car was caused by a slight collision with his son's car.
Yes, so I believe.
Now, did you examine this particular car, the MG belonging to Mr. Burnett's son?
Yes, I did. It was also brought to me by the police.
And would you describe what you found, please?
On the edge of the driver's door, I found traces of metallic green paint of the type used on the Mercedes-Benz model 350 SL.
And did you subject this to analysis?
I did.
And what did you find?
That it could have come from any one of, I think you said, 200 similar examples of this particular car. But, as a high probability, it came from the one owned by Mr. Burnett.
Thank you, Dr. Roberts. No further questions.
I have no further questions.
You may stand down.
My lord, that concludes my examination of witnesses for the prosecution.
In that case, my lord, I should like to call the accused, Mr. Henry Burnett.
I shall give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
You are Henry Burnett of the Glebe, Paley, in the county of Fulchester.
Yes, I am.
Are you married, Mr. Burnett?
Yes?
And I believe you have 2 children.
Yes, my son Neville and my daughter Leslie.
And what age are you?
I'm 45.
What is your occupation?
Well, that's a broad question. I'm director of a number of companies, and I'm the principal shareholder and managing director of Burnett Components Limited.
And what is that?
It's a company producing a wide range of motor car accessories with a factory at Stepton, outside Fulchester.
And I believe you have many other social interests as well.
Well, yes, I have. I'm vice president of the Fulchester Chamber of Commerce, chairman of the Fulchester Rotary Club, and I'm also chairman of the Fulchester Rugby Club. I'm also a prospective parliamentary candidate for Southby.
And aside from your professional interests in cars, I understand that you are a keen motorist as well.
Yes, I am. Cars and driving are my special hobby.
How long have you been driving?
Oh, more than 25 years.
And except for the 2 speeding prosecutions that I've already cited, with a completely clean record.
Yes, and may I say here that I consider that those prosecutions were brought deliberately, in a deliberate campaign of harassment.
And I believe that during your motoring career, you have also owned a large number of cars.
35. At the present, I have just the 2, personally, that is.
One of them being the Mercedes 350 SL.
Yes.
And you take great pride in your cars and in your motoring skill.
Yes, I do. Very much so.
Now, Mr. Burnett, I'd like you to give your own account of your movements on the evening and night of June 14th, 1973, please.
Well, I left my home in the Mercedes at about 8 o'clock.
I beg your pardon, could you start a little earlier than that? From the time you left your office at the factory, say.
Well, I was using the rolls at that time. I left my office shortly after 6, taking with me my secretary, Mrs. Emberton. Now, I should say my wife was away in Davos with our daughter.
And that is Davos in Switzerland?
Yes, she'd gone there ahead. And I was to join her at the villa on Saturday. This was Thursday, you see. So I wanted to clear up my business, so as to have time for packing on the Friday. So I asked Mrs. Emberton if she'd come home with me, with some papers, and have a working supper.
What time did you arrive at home?
Well, we arrived at my home at about 6:30, went into the kitchen, had a drink and a bite to eat. As I say, we'd planned a working supper. I discovered some important documents were missing. Then I remembered I'd given them to a Mr. Danville. Now, he's one of my directors. I knew his wife wasn't well. I didn't want to drag him all the way over to my place, so I telephoned him, and I suggested that we come over to him at about 8:30. Now, he lives at Ash Green. That's a run of about 35 minutes. It was a nice warm evening, so I thought, well, we might as well go over in the open car. So I went outside and took the Mercedes out of the garage, got the hood down, I left it in the driveway, and went back into the house. Now, a few moments later, just as we were about to leave, I heard my son's car driving in. And then I heard a bang. So I dashed out. I saw that he'd stopped his car right by mine, facing the same way. He'd thrown open the door, and he'd hit my near side wing with the edge, making a dent, damaging the paintwork just behind the headlamp. I mean, it was a bloody careless thing to do. I'm sorry, I beg your pardon, my lord.
Your son, I take it, is not such a careful driver as yourself, then?
No, he is not. And I've often blown him up about it.
So it was this careless act by your son that caused the damage to your Mercedes that we've heard so much about?
Yes, it was.
And none other. There was no subsequent collision before you put the matter into repair the following morning?
No, none.
Very well. Would you please continue with your account?
Well, I thought of changing back to the rolls because, well, I have a thing about driving a damaged car.
A thing?
I mean, I dislike it, my lord, to the point where some people have even joked about it.
A personal quirk?
Well, that would describe it very well, my lord.
Yeah, Mr.
Please go on, Mr. Burnett.
Well, by this time...
First, excuse me,
Yes?
I'm sorry. Would you please hold up Exhibit 2? Now, were you wearing this coat, Mr. Burnett?
No, not at that time. I put it on later. I keep it in the car.
Thank you. Please go on.
It was then about 8 o'clock, and I didn't want to keep Mrs. Emberton out late, so we went off in the Mercedes. Now, I must admit, I did put a bit of speed on. That must be where the police saw me on the way to Ash Green, doing all of 76 miles an hour.
And that would have been on the A135?
Yes, you get on it a few miles south of Paley. I arrived at Mr. Danville's house at about 20 to 9, spent about 3/4 of an hour there, and then about 20 past 9, I set off to take Mrs. Emberton home.
You say about 20 past 9. Could you be more exact than that, please?
Well, it might have been 25 past 9, but certainly not later.
Now, did Mr. Danville see the car?
Oh, yes, he saw me off. Oh, I see what you mean. Yes, he did, yes. As a matter of fact, as I was closing the door, he said, I say, you'll have to abandon this, won't you, or something like that, pointing to the damaged wing.
Well, this was a joke, I presume.
Yes, my lord, he was playing with my quirk. Oh, there's an old chestnut about the man who owned the rolls and said he was going to abandon it because the ashtrays were full.
I see.
So, Mr. Danville noticed the car without your having to draw attention to it?
Yes, he did.
Please carry on.
Well, I arrived at Mrs. Emberton's house just before 10 o'clock. She lives at Cosley. We went in. I had a cup of tea and a chat. Mr. Emberton had just got back from London, a few minutes before we arrived, in fact. Then I noticed the time. It was 10:30.
You're quite
So
certain?
I said good night.
You're quite certain of that? It was 10:30 when you left the Embertons.
Yes, I am. Quite certain.
So you took the road again at 10:30, exactly at the time, in fact, that Mr. Driscoll witnessed the accident in Bottom Lane, which, as we know, is all of, 15 miles away.
That's right.
Now, what route did you take home, Mr. Burnett?
I took the A67, turning left at Wells Corner, then left again to Paley.
And not by the shorter route via Bottom Lane and 5 Mile Lane?
Not at that time of night. It's much easier by the main roads.
But you do know the Bottom Lane route well?
Yes, sir, I know it very well. That's why I didn't take it.
Now, what time did you arrive back home?
At about 11:10. My son was still up. We had a joke about the car. I made my peace with him, and then I went to bed.
Now, you said about 11:10. Could you be more precise?
Well, it takes 40 minutes to drive from Mrs. Emmerdon's house. I mean, I've done it several times. My son was still up, as I say. I don't know if he noticed the time.
Thank you, Mr. Burnett. No further questions.
Thank you.
Mr. Burnett, on your own showing, you're a man of substance, of considerable public prominence. A conviction, whatever the sentence for causing death by dangerous driving, would be catastrophic for you.
Well, it would be for anyone.
Oh, but especially for you. For instance, it would put paid to your parliamentary ambitions.
Rightly, if I was guilty, but I'm not.
You would fight to prevent it by every means you had.
Yes, I would, because I'm innocent.
I suggest that almost every word you've just spoken, on oath, is a lie. And what is more, you've used your considerable influence to force others to lie on your behalf.
I haven't forced you to say that lie, sir.
You must not call counsel a liar, Mr. Burnett.
My lord, he called me one.
The present circumstances give him that right. The jury will decide whether he is right or wrong.
Thank you, my lord.
And I thank you, my lord.
You must not be impertinent, Mr. Burnett.
Mr. Burnett, why were you so anxious to get your car repaired so quickly?
Because I intended taking it abroad with me on the Saturday.
But your ferry booking shows the date of the 23rd of June, the following Saturday.
Yes, well, if you know that, sir, you must also know that I cancelled it.
Why?
Because I decided to go earlier.
And when was this?
On the Thursday, the 14th. I telephoned my wife I was missing her. So I decided to put my holidays forward by a week. That was why there was all the rush.
And did you manage to change the ferry booking?
No, I didn't bother. There was plenty of room at that time of year.
You decided on this sudden change of plan because you were missing your wife.
Yes, is that strange?
Mr. Burnett, on June the 10th of this year, did your wife commence divorce proceedings?
My lord, I submit that that question is entirely inadmissible. It's totally irrelevant to
My
the
lord,
charge.
the accused has said that the reason for his haste in having his car repaired so quickly was that he'd put his holiday forward a week, and the reason for that was that he loved his wife and was missing her. Now, my question is designed to show that this is completely untrue.
The question is admissible.
I put it to you again, Mr. Burnett. Did your wife, on June the 10th, present you with a petition for divorce, in fact, on the grounds of adultery?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Burnett, to clarify the position, the petition was served on the 10th. And when did your wife and daughter leave for Switzerland?
On the 6th.
So that she caused the petition to be served while she was away.
Yes.
Would you say that implied a loving relationship?
I wanted to talk to her, to see her.
I suggest you had no intention of joining your wife after you had cancelled your ferry booking.
You can suggest what you like, sir.
That you invented this desire to see her to lend colour to your story about needing your car repaired so quickly.
If you can think that, you can think anything.
It's not what I think, Mr. Burnett. It's up to the jury to form their own conclusions. Thank you. No further questions.
Mr. Burnett, the prosecution has elicited, for what reason I shall leave the jury to judge, that your wife served a petition against you for divorce on the grounds of adultery. Now, has she any grounds for such a suit?
No, none whatever.
And has she since withdrawn those proceedings?
Yes.
And you're living together again?
Yes, we are, thank God.
Thank you, Mr. Burnett. No further questions.
Thank you.
The accused will return to the dock.
Thank you, my lord.
I'll call Mr. Leonard Hooper, please. What work do you do there?
I'm the foreman in charge of vehicle maintenance.
And what exactly does that involve?
Well, I keep all the company vans and cars in good order, running and shining.
Running and shining?
Well, that's an expression we use. Whenever a van or a car's ready for the road, we say it's running and shining. Mr. Burnett is very hot. He's very keen on having all the company vehicles looking very sharp. No dents or scratches, and the paint looking factory fresh.
And at Burnett, you have all the means to keep your vehicles running and shining.
Oh, yes, we're very well equipped with a panel and paint shop. Better equipped than some motor repair firms that do it for a living, you might say.
Now, is it customary, that is part of your department's work, for you to attend to Mr. Burnett's private cars?
Yes, and the other directors. I wouldn't like them to go anywhere else. It would be a reflection.
So it's quite usual for Mr. Burnett to ask you to do a repair job on one of his own cars?
When it's necessary. But it's not very often. He's a very careful driver.
Thank you. Now, I want you to recall the morning of Friday, June the 15th of this year. Mr. Burnett brought his Mercedes car to your repair shop.
Yes, he did.
Now, what time was this?
20 to 8.
Were you surprised to see him that early?
Well, no, he's always in the office at 7:30, and we start working the shop at 8 o'clock.
But you were there at 22.
Well, I never like to be later than the boss, and there's always something to do.
Now, what took place between you?
Well, he drove in and he said, look, Len, what my son's done to my car. And I said, well, don't worry about that. I'll fix it so that you won't know it. And he said, can I have it by 4 o'clock? And I said, well, you can have it by noon as soon as the paint's dry.
Would you describe the damage that you found, please?
Well, it was just what you'd expect in view of what happened. There was a dent and a scratch about 3 inches long, and the paint was broken just behind the near side headlamp. Well, luckily it was below the level of the trim, and I didn't have to spray any higher than that.
Were you surprised that he was bothered about what seemed to be such a trivial piece of damage?
Well, not Mr. Burnett.
And you found no signs of other damage that could have been caused by another collision, say, at the same place?
No, sir, it was just what I said.
Thank you, Mr. Hooper. No further questions.
Mr. Hooper, you've worked for Mr. Burnett for 11 years, and you clearly think a lot of him as an employer.
Yes.
And as a man, too?
Yes.
Isn't it a fact that you owe him a lot personally?
I don't know what you mean.
Well, that's rather ungrateful, Mr. Hooper. Didn't Mr. Burnett in 1969 advance you a personal loan of £2,000?
Yes.
Well, why did you need it?
Well, I had some expenses.
Isn't it a fact, Mr. Hooper, that your daughter suffers from kidney disease and is on dialysis?
Yes.
And that Mr. Burnett advanced the money for the machine to be installed in your own home because the local hospital couldn't take her?
Yes.
And this really saved the life of your daughter?
Yes, it did.
So that, in fact, you owe Mr. Burnett a great debt of obligation.
Well, he was very good to us.
I therefore put it to you that if he asked you to do him a special personal favour, you would have no hesitation in doing it.
He never asked anything out of the way. He's not that kind of man.
We shall see what kind of a man Mr. Burnett is. Thank you, that is all.
I have no further questions, my lord.
You may stand down.
I'd like to call Mr. Neville Burnett, please. Neville Burnett, living at the Glebe, Paley, and you are the son of the accused.
Yes.
How old are you, Mr. Burnett?
I'm 20.
Could you please speak up so the jury can hear you?
I'm sorry, I'm 20.
Thank you. Now, what is your occupation?
I'm an apprentice.
At what trade?
In my father's factory.
I see, so you're going through the ropes, as it were.
Yes.
Now, I want you to recall the events of the evening of June 14th. And can you recount your own actions on that evening, say from 7 o'clock onwards?
I'd been to see a friend at Hickey. It's nearby, and...
This would be in your own car, would it? The MG?
Yes.
Go on, please.
Well, I left there about 7:45 and went straight home. My father's car was in the drive, his Mercedes, and I came up and stopped by it, and as I opened my car door, my hand slipped and the door banged against the Merc.
Now, I should like you to describe this incident very carefully. Where exactly was the Mercedes?
It was just in front of the garage. I came up on the left-hand side and stopped just a bit ahead and caught the Mercedes behind the headlamp.
I see. Did you examine the damage?
Yes, there was a scratch and a bit of a dent.
What happened then?
Well, then Dad came out. My father came out with Mrs. Emberton, and I showed him what had happened.
And he wasn't exactly pleased at what he saw?
No.
What happened then?
Well, then my father drove off in it with Mrs. Emberton.
And were you still up when he returned home that night?
Yes.
What time was that?
I had the radio on, and it was after the news. It was about 11:15. Yes, 11:15, it must have been. I heard my father garage the car, and then he came into the kitchen. We had a chat, and then he went to bed. And then I did.
And did your father refer to the accident earlier in the day?
Yes, he said he'd take it into Len Hooper, and get him to fix it first thing in the morning.
And did you see the car in the morning before he took it into repair?
No, I wasn't up.
Thank you, Mr. Burnett.
Mr. Burnett, you say you are 20.
Yes.
Last birthday or next?
Well, next, in January.
So you're really still 19.
Yes.
There's no crime in that, but this is a court of law, and we have to be exact and tell the absolute truth. Do you understand?
Yes.
Now, you chose to enter your father's factory and, as it were, to follow in his footsteps.
Yes.
What school did you go to?
To Emsworth.
Well, that is a public school of a special sort, isn't it?
I don't know what you mean.
Oh, I think you do. And you really must speak up, Mr. Bennett.
I'm sorry.
Isn't Emsworth a school for what might be politely called misfits in education? Boys who haven't done well in other schools?
Some of them.
Were you at a previous school?
Yes.
Where was this?
At Harrow.
Well, why did you leave?
Well, you seem to know.
Now, don't be impertinent. Wasn't it, in fact, because you weren't doing well there and it was suggested that you go to another school?
Yes.
Well, let's turn to Emsworth. Did you do well there?
All right.
Did you pass your A-levels?
No.
But you tried to.
Yes.
How many times?
Well, twice.
And you failed?
Yes.
So that you couldn't go to a university?
No.
And as a last resort, your father put you into his factory. Wasn't that the case?
Yes.
So it wasn't your own choice?
No.
So that you lied when you said it was your own choice. You lied to the court.
My lord, I do object to this bullying of the witness over such a trivial point.
My lord, much of the case for the prosecution depends on the credibility of this witness.
Mr. Burnett, you are a young man and in a position of difficulty. But you are on oath to tell the truth. You must answer precisely the questions that are put to you. You understand?
Yes.
Are you on good terms with your father?
We get on all right.
Would you say he was a dominating man?
I suppose so.
He dominates you?
I...
Are you frightened of your father?
Well, no.
Well, why don't you look at him? You haven't done so since you entered the court. Look at him now. I put it to you again. Are you frightened of your father?
Well, no.
But he is a dominating man.
Yes, but...
You've disappointed him, you failed him, and you're anxious to please him.
Yes, but I...
You say you came home and saw your father's Mercedes just outside the garage.
Yes.
Facing into it.
Yes.
Well, wasn't that an odd position to leave it? He was just going to drive off in it. Wouldn't he have turned it round to face down the drive?
It was there.
Why did you drive your car up to the garage?
Because I wanted to put it in.
Do you normally garage your car?
No, but...
How many cars does the garage hold?
Well, 3.
Your father's 2 cars and your mother's?
Yes.
So there's no room for yours.
No, but I...
Then why did you drive it up to the garage?
I thought there might be.
I don't believe you drove it up to the garage at all.
I did.
You also said that on the night of the accident, your father returned home at 11:15.
Yes.
I suggest that is what he told you to say.
It's true.
I suggest it is a lie and that he actually came home earlier, and you are supporting his story because you're completely under his thumb, frightened of him, ready to lie to the court, perjure yourself.
It's true.
Rather than face your father's anger because you're afraid of what he might do to you. You are lying, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
Why don't you tell the truth?
I am. I am telling the truth.
The case of the Queen against Burnett will be resumed tomorrow in the Crown Court.
Nearer Emberton, please. Will you come this way, please?
George Farrow, retired jobbing gardener, cycling home down a dark country lane one June evening after a visit to his local, was knocked down and killed by a speeding car which failed to stop. A passing witness identified the car as a grey-green Mercedes and the driver as Henry Burnett, a local businessman. Burnett has pleaded not guilty to causing death by dangerous driving. The trial resumes with the defence counsel questioning Burnett's private secretary, Mrs. Vera Emberton.
Personal secretary for 7 years and worked with him closely. So presumably you know him quite well.
Yes, I...
How would you describe your relations with him?
Well, they're very friendly, of course.
Do you mean as a personal friend?
Well, I wouldn't put it quite so high, but, well, as my employer, we get on very well. Well, I wouldn't have lasted so long if we didn't.
Would you say that he was a demanding employer?
Very.
Does he ever ask you to do things that might be considered more than your job? More than you're paid to do?
Oh, frequently. Well, he works all hours and expects me to do the same.
You don't mind?
I consider it my job, and I'm very well paid, actually.
So we can say that you have a high regard for Mr. Burnett?
Yes, I have.
Now, Miss Emberton, on June 14th of this year, we're told that you were working in the office with Mr. Burnett until 6 o'clock. Could you go on from there, please?
Well, Mr. Burnett had suddenly decided to go to his villa in Switzerland. And that meant a lot of extra memos and letters to do. So I said something like, if you want me to work half the night, you'll have to feed me as well. So we took the unfinished work and went to his home and finished it there with sandwiches and a drink. Well, then Mr. Burnett found he wanted the draft balance sheet, but that was at Mr. Danville's. So he telephoned him and said we'd be over later, which I didn't much like, because that meant I'd be even later home, and I thought possibly my husband might come back that night. He was in London at some meeting or other. So Mr. Burnett said we'd use the Mercedes, because I needed the cobwebs blowing away, and he went to get it out of the garage. And then he came back, and I was ready, and we went out together and found Neville had just come back and banged the door of his car into Mr. Burnett's car.
Did you see the damage?
Oh, yes, definitely. It was dented and scratched by Neville's car.
But you did not see the actual incident?
No, my lord.
Then you can only testify as to what you saw, not as to what caused the accident.
Very well, my lord.
What happened next, Mrs. Emberton?
Well, there were a few words, and then we left. And we arrived at Mr. Danville's, so we were there less than an hour. It would have been more, but I wanted to get home because of my husband. And indeed, when we did get to my home, I found my husband had come back.
And what time did you arrive home?
It was 10 or nearly. It takes about 25 minutes from Mr. Danville's.
And then what?
Well, I asked Mr. Burnett to come in and say hello to Jack.
I see. Now, Mrs. Emberton, I'm sure you'll realise how important this is. How long did Mr. Burnett remain with you and your husband in your cottage that night?
Well, I asked if he'd like a cup of tea, and we had that and chatted. It was 10:30.
You're quite sure of that? It was 10:30?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mrs. Emberton. No further questions.
Thank you.
You're very close to Mr. Burnett, aren't you, Mrs. Emberton?
Well, yes, if you mean by that.
I mean that you do things for him beyond what is normally required of a secretary.
I'm paid for it.
And what are you paid?
3,500 and bonuses.
That is a good salary for a secretary. But as you imply, you're a good deal more. An amanuensis, a personal assistant, general handmaid.
I don't know what you mean by that.
I mean that you do a great deal for him, and he relies on you very greatly, not only in running his office, but generally smoothing things for him.
Well, yes, I think that's true.
And you obviously have a very high regard for him.
Yes, I have.
So that if he asked you to do something that was, shall we say, beyond the line of duty, and you could do it, you would?
Yes.
You told the court that when you left his house to go with him to Mr. Danville's, you saw a scratch on the front near side wing of Mr. Burnett's car.
That is what I saw.
I suggest you didn't. I suggest that the accused asked you to say this in support of his story.
You can suggest what you like, but that is what I saw.
I'm also going to suggest that when Mr. Burnett took you to your home, if he came in, it was only for a minute or two, and he left at once, and not after half an hour.
Mr. Burnett did not leave the cottage until 10:30. You can ask my husband.
Well, thank you for your advice, Mrs. Emberton. I intend to. No further questions?
I have no further questions, my lord.
You may stand down.
Thank you.
I'd like to call Mr. Robert Danville, please.
Robert George Winston Danville.
And your address, Mr. Danville?
Courthouse, Ash Green, Fulchester.
And what is your relation to the accused, Mr. Burnett?
I am a director of Burnett Components Limited and associated with a number of his other interests.
Now, I'd like you to turn your memory to the evening of June 14th of this year, if you will. Now, I believe that at or about 8:30 on that evening, Mr. Burnett paid a call on you.
That is so.
And can you recall the circumstances of this visit?
Well, yes, I can. Actually, it was near 9:15. He turned up in one of his very splendid cars with Vera.
It is only necessary to give simple answers to the questions, Mr. Danville.
I beg your lordship's pardon. He turned up in his Mercedes with Vera, his personal assistant, Mrs. Emberton. Well, quite simply, we spent about half an hour discussing the business he came to see me about, and then they went off.
You say about half an hour. Could you be more exact than that?
Well, yes, I suppose in actual fact it was nearer 3/4. I remember I wanted to show them a couple of pictures I'd just bought, of which I was rather proud. Then Mrs. Emberton became restive, and I saw them both out at about 9:30.
You saw them off personally, did you?
Indeed I did. I hope I know my manners.
Will you tell us what happened as you saw them off?
Well, nothing in particular. They just went. I wished Henry and Mr. Burnett a pleasant holiday in Switzerland.
You didn't notice anything?
Oh, I see what you mean. Yes. Well, Henry got into the car, and I saw Mrs. Emberton into the passenger seat. As I shut the door and stood back, I noticed a slight scratch on the front wing. In fact, I made a joke about it, but I don't think he was too pleased. And then they drove off.
Thank you, Mr. Danville.
Mr. Danville, no one but you and, of course, Mrs. Emberton and the accused actually saw the car, closely, I mean, when it stood in the driveway of your house.
Well, I can't account for prowlers, but yes, that is the case.
So we have only your word and theirs that there was this damage to the car at the time.
Oh, quite. Merely our words.
You have been associated with the accused in business for some time.
Some 10 years, and socially, of course.
And how did this association come about?
Well, I'm a banker. Mr. Burnett wanted some financial advice about the flotation of Burnett Components as a public company, actually. And he consulted my bank, and I went on the new board as its representative.
And what bank was this?
Kerry & Wayne Limited.
Of which you were a director?
Yes.
Are you still?
No, I retired in 1970.
But remained with Burnett Components?
Yes.
Presumably in a different capacity?
Well, yes, I look after all the financial matters.
What is your salary as financial director?
I presume that is the business of the court?
You must answer the question, Mr. Danville.
$8,500 a year.
Do you have any other sources of income?
I sell a picture from time to time.
Or capital?
I have a few shares in Burnett's, not many or less.
So, in fact, you are dependent on your directorship of Burnett Components for a living?
Yes. But I do work for my money, you know. Quite hard.
This question of your resignation from Kerry Wayne.
Yes, I thought we'd get on to that.
Yes, we do get on to it, Mr. Danville. You didn't exactly resign, did you?
Well, I did.
Weren't you rather forced to?
Not at all. My health wasn't too good, and I liked to pull my weight.
Well, may I recall the circumstances? They were extremely public. Is it not a fact that in March 1970 you sold a block of shares you owned personally in a company called Martello Enterprises?
Yes.
And this company, Martello Enterprises, which was a client of your bank, went into liquidation the following week?
Yes, but that sort of thing does happen. I was lucky to get out.
And there was an inquiry by the Department for Trade and Industry, and you were accused of profiting from privileged inside information.
Yes, but it was
in
quite
selling
untrue.
your shares before they crashed.
Yes, but I didn't know the situation was in Martello at the time.
And so you said, under oath, at the inquiry. But the Commission decided you were lying.
Yes, well, it was conducted disgracefully. The chairman...
Lying, Mr. Danville. They said you were a liar.
Well, I wasn't.
As a result of which your fellow directors in the bank insisted on your resignation.
Not at all. I left of my own free will. It's the kind of gesture that you have to make in the city. Nobody had really believed I was guilty.
And this resignation left you entirely dependent on the goodwill of Mr. Burnett for a living.
Well, he certainly didn't believe that I was a crook.
No? Or was it that he found a compromised but able man useful to him in his many business affairs?
Nonsense.
One he could get rid of at any time if he didn't do exactly what he was told.
Come.
Including committing perjury for him in this court.
My lord, I do object. I'm not committing perjury. I saw the damage as I described it. It was there.
Mr. Golding, you make a great point of this damage, alleged damage to the accused car caused by his son. You have striven to show that everyone who claims to have seen the damage before the death of Mr. Farrow to be lying.
Yes, my lord.
Is this necessary? Far be it from me to dictate or even influence your line of questioning, but could not both accidents have occurred in the order stated? This would not invalidate the prosecution's case.
Well, that is true, my lord.
And it would save time going into the witnesses' backgrounds.
As your lordship pleases. No further questions.
occupation, Mr. Emberton?
I'm a teacher.
What is your relation to the accused?
Well, my wife works for him. She's his secretary.
Now, I'd like you to turn your mind to the evening of June 14th of this year. Do you recall the evening?
Yes.
Now, we've been told that you had been on a visit to London and returned on that evening. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, what time did you return?
10 to 10.
Can you fix that exactly?
Well, I caught the 9:15 from Fulchester Central. It gets to Cosley at 1:45. The cottage is a 5-minute walk.
Thank you. Now, would you describe in your own words what happened then?
When?
Well, from 10 minutes to 10, the time of your arrival.
Oh, I made myself some bread and cheese and some warm milk. I was doing that when my wife came in with Mr. Burnett.
So that we can say that they arrived, 5 minutes after you'd had?
5 minutes.
At approximately 5 minutes to 10, then. What happened then?
My wife made some tea. We all had some and sat talking, and then he got up and left.
How long did you sit talking?
Half an hour.
You're quite sure of that? It was a full half hour, was it?
Oh, yes, the clock went. We have a climbing clock in the kitchen. He looked at it and said something about, "Good Lord, is that right?" and looked at his watch. It was 10:30.
And so he got up, said goodbye, and he went?
Yes, in his car.
Did you see him out?
No, my wife did. I was feeling tired.
So you didn't actually see his car?
No.
Thank you, Mr. Emberton.
Mr. Emberton, you say you just returned from London.
Yes.
Would you tell us more about this visit to London? What was its purpose? How long were you away?
It was a congress.
Of what?
The Swami Ananda Guru.
I'm sorry?
The Science of Divine Light. It was a 3-day congress.
I'm afraid we're not all acquainted with this divine light, did you say? Is this a new religion?
It's the only religion. The Guru is the present incarnation of Christ.
I see. And you are an adherent of this movement?
Yes.
Now, this congress, you say, lasted 3 days. That's Monday to Wednesday.
No, Tuesday to Thursday. Oh, I came back a day early when I got the chance of a lift back to Fulchester.
Oh, so that your return a day early was unexpected, by your wife, I mean.
Yes, I suppose so.
But your wife has said, Mr. Emberton, that she was expecting you.
If I may, my lord, Mrs. Emberton said she thought her husband might possibly come back that night. I have a note here to that
Yes,
effect.
I have a note. I thought possibly my husband might come home that night.
Thank you, my lord. So your wife was, shall we say, half surprised to see you that night?
Yes.
And what time did you arrive in Fulchester?
9:15. I just caught the bus as it was leaving.
And this brought you to Cosley at 9:45, and from there you say you had a 5-minute walk.
Yes.
You live in a cottage just outside Cosley, I believe.
Yes.
Did you loiter on the way, go into a pub?
No, I don't drink.
Very well. And a very few moments after you got home, your wife arrived with Mr. Burnett.
Yes.
And you tell us that he then stayed 35 minutes before leaving.
Yes.
You realize the significance of this point, Mr. Emberton?
Oh, yes.
It means he claims he was still with you at the time when we assert he was driving his car down Bottom Lane, some 15 miles away, and killed a cyclist by running him down.
Yes.
And only you and your wife are able to corroborate that statement, that he was still and didn't leave your cottage until 10:30.
I suppose so.
Oh, it is so, Mr. Emberton. And I'm going to suggest to you that you are both lying. I suggest that Mr. Burnett, the accused, merely came into your cottage for a moment or two and had a word with you and left no more than 5 minutes after he had arrived.
No, he did not.
And I suggest furthermore that you are supporting his story and your wife's because it is very much in your interest to do so. You say you are a painter and an art teacher.
Yes.
And where do you teach?
Well, I used to teach at the Fulchester Secondary School.
Used to?
Well, I work mainly at home now on my own painting.
Is it a lucrative occupation?
Not yet.
So, in fact, you are dependent on your wife's salary?
Yes.
Well, I put it to you then it was very much in your interest to support Mr. Burnett's story of his being with you in your cottage until 10:30 on the night of June the 14th.
No.
It was not in your interest?
It was true what I said.
You say you're a member of this new religion, the Science of Divine Light.
Yes.
A devout adherent?
It's what I believe in.
I imagine, like most religions, it encourages the telling of the truth.
It is the truth.
And you would not be fit to belong to it if you told a lie.
No,
You would not be worthy of communion with your guru, your new Christ, if you were a liar.
It's the truth.
I beg your pardon, my lord. Mr. Emberton, I'd like to take you back for a moment in your evidence. You say you got a lift back from London that put you down at the Fulchester Central bus station at 9:15.
Yes.
And you then caught the 9:15 bus out of Fulchester to Cosley.
Yes.
Would anyone have noticed you on this bus? The conductor or other passengers?
Oh, I don't know. No.
You say you weren't noticed?
No.
That is hardly surprising, because no 9:15 bus left Fulchester that night for Cosley. My lord, I would like to put this newspaper up as an exhibit. It is a copy of the Fulchester Gazette dated Friday, June the 15th, 1973, and it contains a short paragraph, which, with your permission, I'll read to the jury. It is headed, "Religion Stops Bus." A quarrel between the conductor and passenger at Fulchester Central bus station last night ended with 30 passengers being deprived of the 9:15 bus to Amthorpe. The conductor, a Sikh, alleged that a passenger called him a dirty heathen in a towel. The conductor and driver refused to take out the bus till the passenger apologized, and the passenger, whose name was given as Mr. Patrick O'Healy, refused and knocked off the conductor's turban. The stranded passengers had to wait until the next bus at 9:45 in order to get to their homes. A strong protest is being made by the local representative, Fulchester Anti-Racial, etc., etc.
Let that be Exhibit 3. Mr. Golding.
My lord. Mr. Emberton, we have it then that you could not have been on the 9:15 because there was no such bus. So that was a clear lie, was it not?
Well,
was it a lie?
Yes.
Which bus did you take? The one before it?
No.
Well, there are only two more after the 9:15. That is the 9:45 and the 10:15, which is the last bus. Was it the 9:45?
No, the 10:15.
So you could not have arrived at your cottage until 10 to 11. Isn't that so?
No.
By which time the accused, Mr. Burnett, had already left, hadn't he? Mr. Burnett had already gone. Isn't that so?
No, he was there all right. And so was she, and not in the downstairs room either. Oh, God, they are not going to make me into a liar. Not that, too. Oh, the dirty bear.
He's lying, my lord.
The accused will be silent.
I have no further questions.
Mr. Dealey, do you wish further to examine your witness?
My lord, in the circumstance, I think nothing will be gained by further questioning of this witness. But I should like your lordship's permission to recall the accused.
Yes, I will grant that. Mr. Emberton, before dismissing you, I must remind you that you have, on your own confession, lied in this court on oath. You have committed perjury. And I must warn you that proceedings may be taken against you in that regard. You may go.
Mr. Burnett, will you return to the witness box, please?
I would remind you, Mr. Burnett, that you are still under oath.
Yes.
You stated in your evidence, Mr. Burnett, that you arrived with Mrs. Emberton at her cottage some minutes before 10 p.m. and found Mr. Emberton already there.
Yes, I'd like to explain
You heard evidence
about...
from Mr. Emberton which showed that he could not have been there when you said.
Yes.
Your statement then was untrue.
Yes.
Then why did you make it?
My lord, if you only knew what I was going
Address
through.
the
This was
jury.
Yes, my lord. I was being victimized. I'm innocent, but the police they'd concocted this vile conspiracy against me. I agree, Yes, I lost my head, and I'm sorry. I asked Emberton to support his wife's statement, and he agreed, that's all. Everything else I've said here is true.
You have also heard Mr. Emberton say that when he did arrive home, at nearly 11 o'clock, he found you still at the cottage.
Yes.
Now, is that true?
No, it is not true. The man's ill. He's jealous of his wife, of me, of...
You do appreciate that if you accept Mr. Emberton's story, then it must exonerate you from being responsible for the death of Mr. Farrow.
I am fully aware of that. But it's not true. I left the Emberton house when I said at 10:30, and I went home. I was not involved in any accident.
Now, is that the truth?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Burnett. That is all.
Do you wish to re-examine, Mr. Gulling?
No, my lord.
You may return to the dock.
Thank you.
Members of the jury, both the prosecution and defence counsels have rightly dwelt exclusively on the one piece of direct evidence offered in this case, that of Mr. Driscoll, who identified the driver of the car as the accused, and the car as the car that caused the death of Mr. Farrow. Is he or is he not a reliable witness? The charge stands or falls on this. You have heard him give evidence. You have seen his first very positive assertions, somewhat qualified by cross-examination. Of his sincerity, I imagine you can have no doubt. Of his sureness of observation, you must judge. And if you have any doubts, they must be to the benefit of the accused. Well, having said that, I shall now turn to a matter that must be uppermost in your minds. The witness, Emberton, has stated, under cross-examination, that the accused was in his house, his cottage, at 11 p.m. on the evening in question. This, if true, would completely exonerate the accused. Why then did he not seize upon this statement, accept it? Was it because, as he says, it was not true? Or was it because, if he accepted it, he would be laying himself open to another charge, not pursuable in criminal law, but almost equally ruinous to his reputation? The accused has freely committed perjury in another area. Is he perhaps doing so again, preferring to rest on a precarious alibi rather than on one which is true but uncomfortable? You will retire and consider your verdict.
All stand. The accused will remain standing. Members of the jury, will your foreman please stand? Just answer this question, yes or no. Have you reached a verdict upon which you are all agreed?
Yes.
Do you find the accused Henry Burnett guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Is that the verdict of you all?
Yes.
Have you prepared a record?
Next week, a chance for you to join another jury in assessing the facts when our cameras return to the Crown Court.